Following the tragic passing of Ilerioluwa Oladimeji Aloba, better known as MohBad, on the 12th of September 2023, experts have expressed deep concern over the alarming number of young talents on the African continent who have tragically lost their lives while under the management of record labels. Now, Fikunayomi Johnson, the lead talent manager at Kulture Records, has called on record label executives across the continent to prioritize the mental health and well-being of their signees, an issue of bullying within the industry, which has tragically cut short the lives of numerous promising talents. Now, Nigerian artists are typically hit with a slew of battles that range between maintaining momentum in an ever-evolving industry, absorbing public scrutiny, the lows and highs of performing and connecting also with audiences, also meeting label and investor, media fans' expectations, and many other things. Now, for many, it begins with seemingly insignificant thoughts which snowball into anxiety that in turn imperils their productivity and basically their whole career. According to a Norwegian researcher and psychiatrist, Jonas Vag, musicians are 3 times more likely to undergo psychotherapy than the average person. Now, while being wrongly perceived and stigmatized as Western sicknesses, discussions about mental health awareness are being encouraged in the Nigerian music scene. This morning, we're joined by Dr. Maymunah Yusuf Kadir. She's a psychiatrist, a mental health advocate, and MD and Psychiatrist-In-Chief of Pinnacle Medical Services. Good morning. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Maymunah.
Good morning.
Great to have you. It's not a very popular conversation talking about mental health amongst, amongst Nigerians generally, before we even get into the music industry. How scary would you say that is, that we don't even have those conversations much around here, and makes it worse that, our entertainers barely even consider mental health?
It's quite scary, and I think I will have to break it down this way. In as much as there's a link between entertainment and mental health, or entertainers and mental health, because it provides them the opportunity, fame, creativity, connection with audience, and of course, wealth. There's also that it presents also with its unique challenges with the fact that, it can impact their mental well-being, it can impact their holistic health, which of course mental health is part of it. And this is where the saying is, health is wealth, and there is no health without mental health. So it's quite important that while entertainers have a team that manages them, record label, publicist, social media manager, wardrobe person, and all that, one significant member of that team should actually be a mental health professional. And for so many obvious reasons, they have an erratic schedule, time zone difference when they travel, sleep challenges, they have the pressure to perform, to give to us. If a musician hasn't released any song in recent times, we are putting pressure on him or her. We need to hear you, you need to do this. So there's that issue of pressure from all and high expectation. And of course, the fact that we want them to be perfect. So there's this perfectionistic view of how we want them to be, how we want them to deliver. And of course, conforming to the industry standard and conforming to what we want, not necessarily their own values. There's just so much, and that exposes them to a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. Some of them will get depressed, and in the process of trying to get out of that depression, some may even find themselves start taking drugs, and other substances. And before you know what is happening, dependency setting, tolerance setting, and of course, addiction. So the entertainment industry has done a lot in advocating for mental health awareness and all that, but there's still that mental health stigma because of the fact that some of them just feel that if they seek for mental health support or mental health counseling or therapy, it may damage their reputation, their record label, and of course, sponsorship and partnership. So it's a big thing, and I strongly advocate that mental health support for our entertainment industry should be a must. It should be a policy, and that should be, a regulatory body setting it up and ensuring that every record label, every entertainer should have that team that
we're going to get to the policies in a bit, but you just mentioned stigma. Aside stigma, what other things would you say are some of the reasons that it's not like I said, it's not a popular conversation here in Nigeria? And so, it's going to be hard for you to expect that it would, be better spoken about in the entertainment industry. Because generally across Nigerians, not very many people have mental health assessment. Not very many people want to see a psychiatrist. Yes, there's the stigma. There's the fear of what people will say if you're going to see a psychiatrist. Are you running mad? And that's, very popular fear here in Nigeria. So how do you think we can make it less scary? How do you think we can see mental health as, like you've said, it's a part of your regular health checkup? Your mental health is as important as your physical health. How do you think we can fix that?
This particular statement or question you just posed now is so key, especially to the entertainment industry. Why am I saying that? They are the right people to really advocate and speak about their mental health challenges, because they have a huge followership, they have huge influence. How did TikTok become so viral? A lot of challenges, it came from the media and entertainment industry. So we prefer, and as a mental health advocate, I strongly will encourage entertainers, people in media and entertainment industry, talk about their challenges. Let them be vulnerable enough to share, because with their huge followership and influence, it will really demystify a lot of myths. It will also reduce the stigma and discrimination, including prejudice when it comes to people living with mental illnesses and, of course, their families. So the truth is that this discussion shouldn't just be in silos or in pockets, people just talking about it here and there. But the media and entertainment industry should take it heads on and spread the news, talk about it freely, willingly, share, so that it will encourage other people that have been hiding to come out. We have seen a lot of people in the global north, Western region talking about it, Demi Lovato, so many other people talk about it. But when it comes to African continent and especially Nigeria, people are still hiding. It will destroy my career. What people say, how people take it. But it is a challenge, and while we are doing justice for MohBad, we also have to talk about way forward. So I'm challenging media and entertainment industry right now that they should stand up for this and talk about it willingly, freely, be vulnerable, let people understand what they are going through, and so that they can seek help from the right people, the right places, and of course the right timing. Because preventive measures for me is far better than when it comes to treatment. And we shouldn't be indulging in fire brigade approach. We should make sure that it is key, it is inculcated in their day-to-day life, and talking about it will really help in destigmatization when it comes to mental health.
Yeah, the stigmatization is extremely important. I think that's maybe where we should start from, and let everyone know that it's nothing to be ashamed of, to see a psychiatrist. But now I want to also ask about, we're going to talk about MohBad proper in a bit, but I also want to ask now about one thing that I think might also be the challenge, which is, people fear that it's expensive to see a psychiatrist. It's expensive to see a therapist. You can't just walk into, I know that there's the ones who are pro bono, they're the ones, that maybe, discounted. But the average therapist across Nigeria, I believe, here in Lagos, is pretty expensive. So it might be one thing that scares people away. Do you think that maybe should be fixed? Should people be able to afford therapy from their salary, their regular income? And of course, how much, Nigerians don't earn so much. But should people be able to afford, certain levels of therapy? And if they can't afford it on that level, are there other ways that you can have, therapeutic, help for your mental health without digging too deep into your pockets?
Good question. Health is a fundamental human right, but healthcare is not. And healthcare anywhere in the world is expensive. It may interest Nigerians to know that over 70% of Nigerians do out-of-pocket payment. Like literally, you pay from your salary, savings, or whatever. Because of course, the health insurance scheme is not properly. We still have less than 10% of Nigerians under the health insurance scheme, including the HMOs. Yes, quite a number of the HMOs have mental health. Even the NHIA now have mental health services. So, but the first thing I want to let Nigerians know is that go get health insurance. It's cheaper. I run a private practice, Pinnacle Medical Services. The truth is that they come with their tariffs. We negotiate back to back, and they will stick to the tariff, and then they start selling patients and Nigerians to us to manage, right? But if you do out-of-pocket payment, it's far, far, far more expensive anywhere. Whether you are doing a diagnostic investigation, you are doing a blood work, you are going for surgery, it is far, far expensive. So I will advocate for health insurance and proper coverage. That is one thing that will actually reduce the cost of your, health services or payment anywhere you are. So that even if you are in Port Harcourt and you find yourself having an issue in Lagos, you can easily access that healthcare at an affordable rate. Because the truth is that we still have a huge cost when it comes to taking care of our health. Therapy, is it more expensive than managing malaria and typhoid? I will tell you, it's a lie. People don't see therapy. When you hear there's something about belief that this is expensive, this is not affordable. Have you even got to even seek for therapy? Have you even got to even ask what therapy is? What is the cost of normal malaria and typhoid treatment? What's the cost of normal? So the truth is that healthcare is not cheap, but when you are insured, meaning preventively, when you then need that help, you can get it at an affordable price. And yes, there are ways that we are not talking about how people can, get mental health care, that is very affordable and bridge mental health equity, whereby people can access mental health care that is affordable, accessible, and available to people. Like for us in our organization, we have this mobile counseling booth. We have an online telemedicine platform. It's not as expensive as when you walk in. So telemedicine is also a very good way where people can access mental health care at the tip of their finger in their home without, breaking the bound. So for example, we have HowBody in Google Play Store and Apple Store. HowBody means in Nigeria, of course, how are you? You can click on it and download it and get mental health care at the tip of your fingertip. So there are other platforms that are available locally and internationally. But the truth is that people need to be able to speak up and speak out and get help from the right people, the right places, and the right time. And also encourage help-seeking behavior so that we would be more taken care of, better taken care of rather, as against waiting for when you are now really down and out, and then it costs more. Because when you are on admission, it's going to cost you more. Definitely. Or when you are doing it regularly, it's not going to cost as much as it should, when you have to go on admission or take medications.
All right. Now let's talk about MohBad in particular. Help break down, how much, pressure from the industry and pressure from his record label, as alleged, may have affected, this particular, this individual, and led to where we currently are today. Unfortunately, he's passed. There's, of course, those who say that the record label should, and of course, people running the record label should be brought in for questioning. That, the things and the way that, of course, he was treated while in the record label maybe, must have driven him to the stage that he was mentally, that maybe led to his passing. These are all left for the police to investigate. But let's talk about, how, that pressure affected him.
It's sad. May so rest in peace. This is a young man that quite a number of people may or may not know. I'm not in the media and entertainment industry, but we have over 25% of our patients and clients from among young persons. So I'm always up to date with media and entertainment industry people. So MohBad was a regular person on my therapy table with my young, teenagers and adolescents. So I know his music, I know who he was. But of course now, like you said, alleged, there are so many videos out there of him being harassed, being bullied, being beaten, and you'll be wondering, how long did this young man take all this before eventually the demise? How long has this been ongoing? What happened? Let's not forget, we don't know much about his personality. What was his personality type? Was it the introverted type? Was it the extroverted type? Why he was alive? Was he feeling lonely, isolated? Because those are some of the mental challenges the entertainers go through: isolation and loneliness, and of course lack of support. How much support did he have from his family and friends? That is very, very important, because at the end of the day, all these allegations, of course, the law will come to, to bear to know what is happening. And of course, the autopsy will also show what is happening or what has happened. It's important that record labels, when you have a signee, make sure that he feels, you create a safe space where he feels, supported, empowered, inspired, and of course, have a place where he can speak up and speak out. Don't just have a record label where you just bring in people and then their well-being is not important or it's not paramount. So all record labels holders should also make sure that their signing feels supported, inspired, and empowered. And of course, having that safe space where they can feel, seen, heard, and of course, wanted. So it's important that regulatory bodies, so because for the media and entertainment, what is a regulatory body? I'm still trying to find out what it is. What is that regulatory body that will make sure that these things are put in place? For us, we have seen a lot of videos and, they talk online and all that, but that lack of support, I think it's a strong factor that every entertainer should have. Family and friends that can tell you the truth when and if you need it, not just telling you what you want to hear, but what really that you need. Because lack of support can expose you to a lot of challenges, a lot of stress, a lot of emotional issues, and of course sometimes even financial uncertainty. So support is very key, either both from the family and friends, and of course from the record label is very important. Building healthy relationships.
Yeah, very true. As long as it's not the record label that is, causing your problems, like that, what it seems like in this particular situation, and we're hoping that the Nigerian entertainment industry generally, is able to learn the mistakes that have been made here and, able to do better going forward. Would you say that these are some of the things that should be signed or should be agreed, upon when contracts are being signed by, artists to their record labels? And that includes not just the music industry; it also includes the movie industry, entertainment generally. Do you think that these are some of the things, or should individuals, instead of waiting for their record labels, go get their own, medical insurance, get their own, therapies, just put these things in place for themselves without waiting for the record label?
Yeah.
I should quickly. I'm sorry. I should also quickly add. Reality TV shows also. There's a very, very popular one that, and when housemates leave, a lot of times they are under immense pressure to continue to, be popular, and stuff.
Yeah. So the thing is that when there's a policy, it's important that it's not just in the incubator or just left in the cupboard. It should be properly implemented. Do we have those policies? And if we do not have these policies, why don't we have these policies? And of course, can these policies be instituted? Yes, we can do these things. We can't just sit down, fold our hands, and just allow things to just go that way. The truth is that record labels should be guided with policies and regulatory bodies, making sure that they have all the requisite, structure. It's a business, for God's sake. You can't even just run and start selling kwili or bekere on the street without having a business plan, because it's not going to be sustainable. You will do it to a level where you know that you can move forward. So you have to have a business plan, you have to do your market research, do this and all that to put a structure in it. So with a regulatory body, record labels will actually have a proper structure, having the right team with doctor, therapists, everything that comes with it. But you as an individual, we also understand that sometimes some things may spiral out of that are not within your control. Who says that you can't have somebody on your speed dial who is that, that's on your, what they call it, a go-to, a person when, if you have challenges, there's that person that you can call and they get the help that you need, especially when it comes to your health. Like I said at the beginning, health is wealth, and there is no health without mental health. We have to take this statement very, very seriously. Why? Because without your health, you can't be wealthy. And of course, without mental health, everything also gets negated. So it's important that that structure is there, the right thing for every record label. And as an individual, also be bold enough to have your own people that at the end of the day, they are your support system, that they can see things for you without you even saying it. That is where I'm talking about healthy support system, and of course, having the right people in your circle. Because sometimes you may be going through challenges, you do not know that these are obvious. But with your behavioral manifestation, the people around you can easily say, I noticed this 2 weeks ago, this wasn't here last year, a month, and I suggest that you do get help. So these are the things that we are talking about, and it's important that they are properly instituted. For reality TV shows, I've written an op-ed before this, and I think I have to put it up again. They must know, before they go into those shows, they have to be psychologically screened. While they are in the show, they must be given that support. And of course, outside the show, at least minimum of 1 year psychological support. Because there's always that pressure to show up, the pressure to show up, pressure to do big things, pressure to sign up, sponsorship, everything. And that may not be the person's value or personality, right? But there's that pressure there. So that organization, as a reality TV show, must also put those structures in place where they get psychological support before, during, and after the show. It's a given. It shouldn't even be compromised. It shouldn't be something that is a good to have. It should be a must to have.
All right. I know you're not a lawyer, or a security agent, but I want to ask if it is worth expecting that the police should, look back at the history between MohBad and his record label. Would it be fair to say that if those allegations are true, that his mental health was severely damaged and he was, physically and emotionally abused all, for many, many months, maybe even years, that could be said to, be the reason for his death, or could have led to his death, Could that be blamed? Could they be held liable for, whatever led him to the hospital, that eventually, of course, led to his death?
There are so many allegations. I know the person that is in the center of everything is late right now. So it's going to be hearsay, it's going to be, I noticed this, it's going to be, this was his last word, this was his last statement. It's going to be hard to verify, corroborate, and know exactly what really happened. Of course, with the police investigation, autopsy report, people that have very strong, evidence to show this is what has happened, or this is how it presented before his demise. All that can, tie up, and the law will take its course. Yes, like you said, I'm not a lawyer, but a lawyer by association. But the truth is that the law has to take its course. If there are strong evidence enough to show this, all what we have seen, heard, and experienced, and we have noticed, could actually have impacted his mental health. But the thing again is that this young man, we do not really know what we call the predisposing or precipitating factors. What were the traumas or unresolved traumas he might have been dealing with before he even got into this record label? We understand that some of us have a lot of traumas. Could they already be exposed or at high risk of having a mental breakdown? And of course, joining this record label now predisposed him to all the anxiety, depression, or substance abuse, or whatever he might have experienced before his demise. All that may not really be gotten because it's late now. We can't really know that. But of course, from his parents talking to him, from to them, from his family and friends, and of course his colleagues, they can gather enough evidence. And of course, if the law finds the record label wanting, maybe for some reasons they've done some things that they were not supposed to do, the law takes its course.
Okay, final question before we let you go. We've taken a lot of your time this morning. I also want to talk about the use of hard drugs, in the industry. How much damage does this also, cause with regards to mental health? It's a pretty popular expectation, that a lot of artists smoke, and of course take, certain drugs. Is this also one of the things that may be, leading to mental health challenges in the industry?
Yes, big time. And it's so damaging. Why? Because substance abuse, can lead to addiction. And I always say addiction is not an event, it's a process. You have to go into the, the stage of tolerance, dependency before you go into an addiction. And because it's media and entertainment, and because they are entertainers with huge followership and huge influence, they also, people, the young ones, the youngsters, Gen Zs, Afro generation, even the older people, they can emulate what they are doing and just feel that it is normal to start, taking this drug, forgetting that our brains are unique. Everybody has a unique brain. Even if you are a set of twin or triplets, each one of them has their own unique brain. So it is important that we understand that drug abuse is not the way out. Abusing substances is not. Even if you have sleep issues, you shouldn't go and be taking sleep tablets. There are many ways of working on good sleep hygiene. So drug abuse in the industry, it's really bad because it's affecting them, it's damaging, it can cause addiction, it can make them to lose their life. And because of their huge influence out there, it's also letting the young ones believe that it is okay, it is normal to take drugs, which is not. So we are almost having a drug epidemic in Nigeria. We are not talking about it, but it is a crisis, a time bomb waiting to explode because of the rate these young people are taking substances right now. And some of them don't have names. They don't. It's a lot of concussion. And before you know it's happening, the person is in a rehab or left to wander around the street. The streets are no longer like livable, and damages to the parents and everybody just feels drained. Loved ones just feel drained because their children are abusing substances. So it's important because even their lyrics, some of their lyrics are just very, very provocative with regards to the words they say and just normalizing taking substances. It is not. It damages the brain. I will tell every Nigerian listening now or watching, substance abuse is a mental health disorder. Substance abuse, substance addiction, whatever you take, whether it is alcohol, cigarette, marijuana, whatever, colos, it is an addiction that can happen, and of course, it's a mental health disorder. It's not just for fun. So don't take it and say it's for fun. I can stop when I want to stop. Your brain doesn't recognize that. So please, the best thing is don't even start.
Yeah, and because do we even know? Because listen, so there is a lot of it in the industry. If we're being honest. From the top to the bottom, and of course it goes across genders, men, women, everybody. Not everybody, but a lot of them. But there's always the argument that it is what helps them be creative, and of course when you're in that space, a lot of people are taking these things and ingesting these substances. People are inhaling balloons. People are, of course, taking tablets. Of course, there's a lot of smoking going on. Do we have like earliest signs of mental health challenges that is derived from substance abuse?
Yeah,
because we see these people every day, and they may act like, this is a normal Nigerian artist, but you may never be able to tell that this person is already starting to show signs of mental, challenges. Maybe because they become erratic. Some people say, okay, maybe they're bipolar, things like that.
Yeah. So there's a myth when it comes to substances make them creative. It's a lie. It's a myth. There are so many other avenues where you can get your inspiration from. There are so many other, ways you can be inspired. You don't have to take substance to get high. If a very typical example is alcohol. People see alcohol like it gives you the high. Alcohol is a depressant when we categorize them under different substances. It's a depressant. You give it that high, and then initially, of course, the next thing you are down. Likewise, even the stimulant, you take it and then it affects a part of the brain with the reward center and all that. It doesn't give you that creativity. It's just a temporary thing. How sustainable is that? It is damaging the brain. And of course, in damaging the brain, before you know it's happening, addiction setting, which is a mental health disorder. So the thing, when you talked about the fact that what are the early signs, the first thing people will watch out, I always tell people to watch out for is change. What has changed in this individual that wasn't there yesterday, that you're noticing today? And if you do not take, you do not table it, or take appropriate measures, it will escalate to more. So the person can be withdrawn. So maybe this person was usually very active, or life of the party, joking, always jovial. All of a sudden is now more withdrawn, or the person is telling you that they're having challenges with their appetite or sleep or their mood. So the way you just said now, the person is bipolar. We don't use that word. You can't say somebody is bipolar. Look at you, you're behaving like you are bipolar. No, that is not it. It's an individual before you have the bipolar affective disorder. So the thing is that there are those classical signs: change in appetite, change in mood, change in sleep, behavioral manifestation, either isolating themselves or becoming very, easily angered, or even throwing tantrums, or even becoming self-destructive. Some of them may even start, having challenges with, spending excessively or becoming over familiar with people. Some even be spending more money. Some, the energy level will be very high. There's always something that has changed in this individual. Yeah. If people around the person to know that this is something that they need to nip in the bud and get the person the much needed help.
And of course, it takes quite a while to be able to rid yourself of that addiction, to that drug. Dr. Maymunah Kadiri, thank you so much for your time. Always interested in speaking with you, and we hope that there is justice for MohBad, and that the entertainment industry does what it needs to do to fix those aspects concerning mental health. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Bye for now.